Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage for today's afternoon update. In today's update, we will be talking about winter continuing to flex its muscles with the cold and some of the snow out there. We'll be tracking a couple different winter storms and looking ahead to a January thaw toward the end of January with warmer temperatures on the way. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns across North America, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and you are into the channel and you get all these updates daily right here on this channel. And you can help me get to 75,000 subscribers simply by subscribing and also liking the video down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking at your current weather conditions out the door this afternoon, we have our winter storm over here into the northeast, bringing some light to moderate snow across Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and eastern New York. Some of those snowflakes flying there also into Massachusetts and western Connecticut, where we have rain showers where it's a little bit warmer further to the south into the eastern Carolinas, coastal Georgia, and Florida here at this hour. None of this is severe, but definitely seeing some sporadic rain showers. The middle of the country, we have high pressure in control across portions of the Plain States and the Midwest. You're probably looking out your door, seeing lots of sunshine in association with this high pressure system, but it is cold. So it definitely looks like a nice day outside, but it is definitely cold out there. And then across the west, we're watching our next storm system that will become our next winter storm that will be pushing into the Pacific Northwest going into tonight. First, let's look at our temperatures this afternoon. Yes, it is cold, so that high pressure system is showing sunshine, but it's cold once you step out the door. We have single digits for highs this afternoon across the upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes, the freezing line going all the way south here toward Houston, Lake Charles, and even down here toward the Montgomery region in Alabama. So you know it's cold when the freezing line is that far south. Here are your afternoon peak daytime heating wind chills. Yes, this is as warm as it will get, and the real feel outside, 15 below there into Chicago lakefront, 13 below in Milwaukee and Green Bay, 7 degrees below zero with our wind chill up here in the Twin Cities region and Minneapolis, St. Paul this afternoon. Looking at our precipitation going through tonight, you see very dry, high pressure and control still across the middle of the country. We have that winter storm moving out there across the northeast, so we'll be seeing some lingering lake effect snow, however, around the Buffalo region, Watertown, New York, and then up here across northern portions of lower Michigan here, including the UP of Michigan, watching out for that lake effect snow. Further west, though, we turn our attention to another winter storm moving in across the Pacific Northwest. Heavier snows breaking out tonight across Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, and then back into Montana. That will continue to trudge its way eastward as we go into Wednesday, entering into the northern Rockies there into Wyoming, Utah, western Colorado. A couple snowflakes can't be ruled out even in Rapid City as we go into South Dakota on your Wednesday. Then as we go into Wednesday night, the system will turn more into a clipper system moving out of Canada, and with the fast flow, this will be moving quickly across the northern U.S. by later this week. Looking at the snowfall amounts over the next 48 hours or so, going through Thursday morning, the 18th of January, notice a couple areas where we have the concentrated precipitation and snowfall across the northeast here with our winter storm and lake effect snow, very significant as well. And then our next winter storm moving in across the Pacific Northwest. So let's first talk about the northeast and eastern Great Lakes region. We could be seeing additional 6 to 9, maybe 10 inches of snow here across portions of Maine, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and eastern New York as we go through your Thursday morning. Look at the lake effect snow bands here. Watertown down to Buffalo, another foot and a half of snow will be possible through your Thursday morning. And then look at this, folks, across the Pacific Northwest, very heavy snows, feet of snow in the higher elevations of Washington State, western Oregon, and then very heavy snow of a foot or more across Idaho here into northwestern Montana, and then heavier snows down toward the Salt Lake City area there in Utah and western Wyoming with this system. So some beneficial snows for the ski resorts across the Pacific Northwest, that is for sure. Big picture wise, the winter storm severity index through Thursday morning, if you are traveling across the Pacific Northwest or even the Northeast in particular, especially close to the Great Lakes regions, We need to be keeping a close eye on those road conditions. You can see from Maine down and through Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, and through Massachusetts, we have at least a minor travel inconvenience, but moderate travel disruptions, though, up toward the Caribou and Bangor, Maine regions. And then closer to those lake effect bands, we could be seeing some major, if not extreme, travel delays into the Watertown region and especially back toward Buffalo as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. Across the Pacific Northwest, same story. You go up in higher elevations, you're going to be running into those major, if not extreme, travel disruptions and delays out there. So make sure if you are traveling across those parts of the country that you do stay aware of those road conditions. Now talking about temperatures, midweek, we are going to see a little reprieve in our temperatures. It will start to warm up and moderate as the coldest of our air will be pushing back into Canada there. But then as we go into later this week, we're going to have a second lobe of the polar vortex push down across the portions of the center of the country, and this will actually bring our second push of cold air by Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday timeframe. Not the strongest cold air push, and certainly not as strong as our first one, but it will pack a punch across the eastern U.S. as we head into the weekend. You can see those blue and purple anomalies indicating below normal temperatures across the eastern 2/3 of the country, whereas the western side, the Intermountain West and the West Coast, will be trending above normal with our temperatures as we go into the weekend time frame. So let's start here tomorrow on Wednesday, January 17th. You can see still cold, but not overly cold across the northern United States here. You can see those below zero highs for the most part on Wednesday. Moving back up into southern Canada, the freezing line lifts a little bit further to the north. St. Louis up to 36, 24 still down into Nashville, a little bit of a snowpack down there. So our temperatures will be held down into the middle 20s. But as we go late week, here we go. We got our second push of cold air. We have single digits on either side of zero across the upper Midwest and northern plains. The freezing line will drop further south by Friday, and by Saturday morning, here we go again. 14 degrees below zero there in central Iowa, 20 below up here into the Sioux City, Sioux Falls region as we go in towards western Iowa on your Saturday morning. And look at those wind chills by Saturday morning. Yes, back into those hazardous, if not dangerous territories with 20 to 30, even 40 degrees below zero wind chills by your Saturday morning across especially the Midwest, the Great Lakes into the northern Ohio Valley, enhanced by that snowpack still sitting around there. So definitely probably seeing more wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings issued by your local National Weather Service by later on this weekend. And look at the afternoon wind chills. Doesn't get much better on Saturday. 25, 30 below zero still across the Hawkeye State of Iowa, the land of Lincoln here in northern Illinois, and then getting back here into eastern portions of Nebraska and even South Dakota, seeing some very cold wind chills there Saturday afternoon. Now let's look at the AO. This is the Arctic Oscillation, and remember, as it's negative, that's the cold air pushing out of Canada into portions of the United States, but we're trending positive. So that means we're trending in the right direction. If you are sick and tired of this cold and you want more warmer weather, well, we're heading that way as we go into late January. And the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, is also trending positive, which means the cold air will be pushing further off to the north, and the warmer air as it comes in will be trending across the central and eastern U.S. with that positive NAO. So let's show you that here. Early next week, your temperature anomalies, most of the country above normal. We're talking probably a handful of degrees above normal early next week. And then by late next week, we really start to warm up here. We're warm still across the west, but look at the central and eastern 2/3 of the country and even southeastern Canada well above normal. And that's due to that positive NAO, making that for that warmer temperatures to be across the eastern portion of North America. Precipitation anomalies, we are talking about active weather. So as the warmer temperatures come in, we're going to be opening up the Gulf of Mexico and that Pacific air moving in as well. And we could be talking about some active weather really centered across the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. And that could trend further north into the mid-Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley vicinity as we go into later January. Just looking at some ensembles here, the EPS, your European ensemble guidance, showing the heaviest of precipitation down near the Gulf Coast and the lower Mississippi Valley. Same thing is held true across the GEFS ensemble guidance as well, and the GEPS ensemble guidance. Your Canadian guidance is actually trending this a little bit further north as well. So not only near the Gulf Coast, but across the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, seeing that active storm track for late January standards. And most of this will likely come as rain, with our moderating temperatures well above freezing. We'll likely see the return of 50s and 60s down here, so possibly some heavy rainfall across the southern portion of the United States, centered across the lower Mississippi Valley for late January. And then the heavy snows out west here, the Four Corners region, especially in those higher elevations, the northwestern Rockies, and then the mountains out west from California and the Sierras there to those mountains up there into Oregon and Washington State, seeing some very heavy snows to round out the month of January. We do have to keep an eye on moisture return, though. If it's too plentiful, we could be moving those dew points higher into the 50s and 60s range, and that could mean trouble for any troughs that move in across the southern U.S. as it intersects some of this warm, moist, and unstable air. We could be seeing a threat for at least low-end severe weather potential across the lower Mississippi Valley into the southeast as we go into late January. We will keep an eye on that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate this, and make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, especially if you like detailed weather breakdowns across North America. Press the like button down below if you like today's afternoon update. Also, make sure to share this video with friends, family, and on social media. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Tuesday out there.